Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first show in English with me on season 5. If you didn't know, we already have 4 seasons running on Drumfills Kafé, and we're going to celebrate our 2 years in a few days. So, thank you to be there every week, and thank you to be part of Drumfills Kafé. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and we have our website, it's drumfills.com. We're very active on Facebook, I will say. The other platforms are there, but our main public are connect on Facebook and in our website, because our website is like a Bible for connecting with all the shows and all the articles. So let's go with our first artist. Actually, the only one of the day today. It's cool because I wanted not just me, but Frank and Denis. We wanted to have we present a few of our collaborators, and the one we have today is one of our collaborators. He's writing for us, and super nice article with example. I really suggest you to go check that out. But I'm gonna present him first, and let's go to chat with him right after the presentation. Well, he lives in Toronto. He played with a lot of artists. I will just name a few because there are so many. So Josh Groban, Alex Kuba, Hilario Duran, Lila Iki, Carol Welsman, and name it. He studied in Humber College. He has a lot of students. He's a teacher. He play all around Toronto. So let's talk with him. Hey, Max Senitt, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you, man?
Pretty good. Thanks to be there, buddy. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think we had like a few seconds
Okay.
with us too. That's okay. Hey, thanks. I just mentioned that to the auditors, but you are writing for Drumfills Kafé since the beginning, and you have a lot of article, and we're starting to move more and more as a magazine online. And thank you to be part of that. That's super nice from you.
Thank you for asking me, man. It's a pleasure.
Actually, that idea came from I knew you, but it came from Frank, because the people that doesn't know, but you work for Drum Etc. magazine in Canada, and Frank was the chief editor at that time, and you work with him. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm glad that I was able to work with him for sure. Yeah, and then even like I remember I played a gig in Montreal one time, and I got to meet him in person, which is great. And then he told me, he said that he wanted to have me on the cover one day. I was like, wow, that's great, man. Sure, my pleasure. And he's a man of his word, so he made it happen, which is great. Yeah.
That's so cool. And let's talk about you a bit, like about your young time, like when you were a kid playing drums. Did you start playing only the drums, or your family make you try a different instrument back then
Actually, I started just with drums. Yeah.
directly?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
got when I was 7. For my birthday. My birthday's in May, so I got a snare drum when I was 7, and then and that Christmas I got the rest of the kit. You know.
okay. Yeah, like a lot of I can guess that was a pretty cool gift when you just remove all the papers and all, and opening the box and you got that kit. Is that the way it is, or you went to a music store and you got that kit?
No, I think the kit was there. I don't remember if it was wrapped or not. That is a detail I haven't thought of before. But if I unwrapped it, but yeah, it was there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool, because some people has different background, and I was asking that because I didn't know if you played other instrument. Do you play other instrument now even?
I try to. It's like a sort of. There's so many things to do. It's a constant struggle. Like I'm looking across the room. I have my keyboard there, and I always try to play. I can play all the major scales in 2 octaves and some other stuff, but like a piano, I think I would like to play more piano.
Yeah, like
Just because, not to be a pianist, but just because it's like one of my drum heroes. Or I've heard it several times. One of my drum heroes is Antonio Sanchez. In fact, I
mhm.
even named my first son. His name is Antonio. I named after
Okay,
him,
okay.
and he knows it too because I know him a little bit. But like he said, like you know what's the best thing you can do to be a better drummer is practice piano, man.
Yeah, because you can hear chords, you can hear the melody, like
Yeah.
all the things are gonna go, you know. So it's a very good way to. Did you in college ask to learn a second instruments back then?
Well, we had like keyboard classes,
Okay.
and depending on what you mean by second instrument, because I do play some percussion, and
Yep.
I got super into like studying like Cuban and and like I hate to say the word Latin music because it's like it's a weird term, but like Cuban style, Cuban and Puerto Rican music is similar, in a way.
Yep. Yep.
So I got like playing congas and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff.
No, I was asking because I know some college, it's an obligation. I know in my time, my college, we had to learn, even if you were in drums, you have to play your first year a second instrument, whatever it is. And you can pick guitar, vocals, bass, whatever. So on my side, I picked at that time piano for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the second year, I was doing Afro-Cuban like world perk, let's say.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
after, yeah, and they were, and the second year, I was able to take another instrument to try to guitar for a year. So that bring you another perspective, and it's good you say that because when you're a drummer, we're putting beats, but when you can interact and talk with that music and know where your friends are gonna go, it's helped to be more musical, you know.
Absolutely. And I forget, it was like somebody was mentioning like I think even like Philly Joe Jones or something like was saying like you don't necessarily like there's like drummer sort of intuition of hearing the harmony where you don't necessarily have to be able to name every single chord, but you sort of develop that more, and definitely like playing some time actually playing the actual chords is going to help you to do that, you know.
Yeah, totally. Actually, you're mentioning that, and you just mentioned Puerto Rico and other kind of things. I know you're really good on those world beat stuff. You know, like you're very known on. You play with many pop, but you're really good at it. Did you became a drummer connected to that because you're curious about those style, or by by time you've been connected by that circle of musician and you jumped in it at that time? What was your path to going through that world?
Oh man, like I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's uh yeah, that's a tricky. I don't know. It just sort of happened, but like now it's like it's almost ridiculous what I I love it, to be honest. Like I really love it, but it's almost ridiculous the uh diversity of artists that I play with, even like right now within a given week, man. It's like I play tomorrow. I'm playing with this guy Donny Roberts.
Okay.
He's one of few Junos. He's from Madagascar,
Okay.
you know, and in his band even is another guy from Japan. And last week I played with two different people from Syria and a guy from Iraq, Sudan, Greece, um, Iran. Like I don't know. It's just it's just I don't know. I love it. It's my path is my I don't know. I guess your path leads you, or you're led on your path for however your interests hopefully
Hmm.
take you.
Hmm.
And I'm like living the dream, man.
That's amazing. Like it's cool, and something cool too about all those complicated pattern because some people doesn't have like idea of what it is. If you listen to radio all the time, you won't probably listen like some trad from Iraq. You know what I mean? It's an example some rhythm like complicated from Madagascar, and it's stuff you have to learn. And sometimes I don't know. I'm just meant like saying something, but some of those like cultural rhythms doesn't have the downbeat on the one, for example, or they
Oh,
don't have that up at the place. You and me will feel it. You know, it's different, completely different
absolutely
world.
not. No, and especially like Donny Roberts. A lot of the music is almost all the music is not all, but is in 6/8, and it's all of it is like in the middle triplet. Like
Okay.
that's not that's not 1 2 3. It's one
No,
two three. It's
three,
like, and
done.
he plays the guitar like it's like yeah, and like I mean, you said something interesting because you said it's difficult or it's complicated, but like I have a theory that nothing is complicated. It's just what's the word, like it's just not, it's not commented or not known to you, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I like the hardest music in the world, if someone knows it well, it's not hard for them, difficult, it's not difficult for them, you know. It's just common. It's just some things, of course there are, if you want to like find some scientific way to measure complexity of music, of course there are you know,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
levels of complexity in rhythms. But yeah, some of it's just like it's just you're just not, it's just not as accustomed to, you're not accustomed to those, hearing those things, you know.
Exactly. No, no. It's funny you just said that because the last week I went to see like a festival like here in Mexico, and I checked out one band from Norteños, but traditional, really traditional
Oh
Norteños,
man.
and no drums. You know, like they all stand up, like 25 trumpets. And, I'm exaggerating, but you know, like those kind of bands. And the drummer, it's three guys. One guy on snare, one guy on
Mm.
crash, and one on the bass drum. I was trying to feel the kick, and I really have a pause and listen to it. Is odd. Is weird. It's not something common. I swear, it took me like 10 minutes to get. Okay, that's the pattern. You do that, and it's sequences of 2 bars or 4 bars, but the bass drum is nowhere where I will have put it. You know what I mean? But it makes sense in the music, so it's funny.
Yeah, and even that, like I've heard some of that stuff before too, and it's common to many styles around of music, like around the world. Like, man, like is it, so were they playing in sixteenths or were they playing in triplets? It's
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's the line is short and it can be very
It's
close.
short, yeah. And even I was recording, in fact, in my house today, music from like Newfoundland. I was recording some tracks
Okay.
for an artist from Newfoundland, and it was like a, even just sort of like a train beat, you know, like the, like a regular train beat. But I was thinking about, because I was really I was actually adding the drums after
Okay.
all the other instruments, and I was thinking about like, how can I really make this feel right? And it's like, it wasn't, it wasn't swung like, but it wasn't like, if I play straight, it was still in between, you know. It's not some crazy norteño or African stuff. It's just like, it's from Canada, but even it's like the, it's in between, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's in
really
between.
does have a swing
Yeah.
feel or like no, no, I totally got
Mm.
it. Like, yep, but it's something cool to work on. They do that now with some new jazz, like some R&B stuff. The
Oh,
triplet feel and that
oh
double,
man.
it's on the limit, all the time.
Oh, those guys are insane, man.
Yeah, with a
And
lot
it's,
of
and
flams.
yeah, and it's a lot like I've been studying with this guy Trishi Sankaran,
Okay.
master Indian percussionist, and he's like, he was, the last lesson I took with him, he was singing this rhythm like in seven, fast seven, but it's like, but it sounded like four, and it sounded like these guys like you know, like that, sorry, that was five, but like
Yeah, no, it's
you
a
know,
seven.
it's like those eight, you know, it's like those eight notes.
Yeah, but for common mortal person, will feel like the downbeat is that top.
Well, the downbeat is still, but it's like, it could be one and a two, but it's like a one two three one two one two. Like that's the same. It's a similar like in a norteños kind of thing, you know, or a
Yep,
cumbia or something. It's
cumbia.
like, yeah, it's like
Yeah, and the cumbia, you just said something. It's true. I've seen a few years ago a cumbia band, like very good, and they really play. At that time it was a drummer and a percussion player, and sometimes they had different feels, but it still makes sense. They still talk together. But if you put attention to one to the other, you're like, hmm. So it's really something cultural for them. Makes sense. And in that song, if you put attention, it makes sense because everything have their own places in that chart. So it's cool. It's cool to discover different style like that.
yeah. The first time I heard cumbia, like I was going to Humber College, and then I started getting into salsa and Cuban music and all this stuff. And then I was working on a cruise ship, and I was
Hmm.
in Acapulco, Mexico, and
Hmm.
I saw this cumbia band, and I was like, "What? Like, what's going on?" Like that. It's like the rhythm is not even. It's not even a 2 bar pattern. It's like a. It's not even like a clave, but the feel was like, man, I've never
Oh
heard
no.
something like that before.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun
it
to
was,
discover things like that. Are you this type of guy? We know COVID have been hard, but are you the type of guy to go outside if you don't play music and go check out bands, right? Like because everything are reopening right now.
hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm an advocate of definitely checking out bands. Let me think. Have I been out? Um, I haven't. I've been, to be honest, like I was hiding out, like we all were, and then I started getting busy, and I've just been super busy. I mean, I haven't really gone out to see bands specifically because most of the time I'm playing, and I've seen other bands, which is great because if they're playing before me or maybe after me or something in a place,
Mhm.
but I haven't like had a lot of time to go out and see other bands.
I, you play a lot, so you don't have that much time, like that energy too, because you have a family, so you have to spend time in the house too. No?
True, yeah. Yeah, I mean I'm very grateful, but this the last couple of months even have just been a blur for me, man.
That's good. That's well. Now you're back on track, and like, okay, bye. I will be busy, and it's always like that, Like for many months, we're like all disconnected, and now life is back and bring you us back on track. So I think it's good to be busy. And how many project, like your own project, like not session? How many project are you playing on right now?
On my own project?
Yeah, I mean project. You're a member of it. You're not a session for that project.
Yeah, I mean I'm a member of a band. Actually we just played in Montreal last week. It's my
Okay.
first time out of the province, but the band is called Moneka Arabic Jazz.
Okay.
It's a very cool project, and we played in the Montreal Arabic festival in Place des Arts. It was
Okay.
great. It was a great experience because everyone is very professional. The sound guys and the lighting, everyone's very, so it was great. So that's called Moneka Arabic Jazz. That's a band, and then I have another group that we played like we were. Me and a friend, the bass player and a guitar player, and we were kind of playing in different projects and backing up people. And then we decided we wanted to start our own little thing. So we did 2 gigs before the pandemic started, and then the pandemic hit. And then when it was time to sort of start to get out of the and
The-
start playing again, we in fact we played on my porch, my front porch. We
okay.
put on concerts. So with that group, and then there was a club called the Oud and the Fuzz in Kensington Market that opened up
Okay.
after the pandemic, and they gave us a spot to do. We ended up playing every Saturday. It was a patio outside, and it was a place that we could play that was safe and allowed. So that's called Wapama for
Wapama.
Walid Abdul Hamid. Pa is Patrick O'Reilly, and Ma is me. So we
Okay.
call Wapama.
Wapama.
Yeah, and
It's
then I
cool.
have another group also. It's just been started since the pandemic. Is called Fractal Sufi. So
Facto
it's
Sufi.
yeah, it's my friend Sina and another friend Hiranimo, and we've been doing some cool stuff. Sina is from Iran, so we've been sort of exploring some different instruments and rhythms, and that's really fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's fun because I checked out a lot of your videos and pictures and stuff, and I like you really adjust your drum set to whatever style or project you will play with. Like you can have a cajon with shakers, a bass drum, no
Mm.
tom, a hi hat, and a crash, like a bigger kit, like a lot of accessories on the side. Like it's really cool because you really bring what you need for that gig. You won't go necessarily with, okay, my drum is 2 tom, one bass drum, a floor snare, do crash, and it's that's it. And you really adapt your color to the style and the project you're playing with. Is it something you do like by reflex, or you really take the time to check out what you need for those projects in general?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes I sort of limit myself purposely almost. It could be because of the physical place that I'm playing. You
Yeah.
know, if it's smaller or bigger or whatever. But sometimes I just like to limit myself. A lot of, you know, some a lot of time I never use toms. You know, but then I started bringing toms, and then I got kind of used to them. So now I pretty much almost always bring toms to the gig. But I always have different yeah, like different stick combination
Hmm.
or percussion thing. Yeah.
Shaker, shakiri, tambourines, and things like that.
Yeah, shaker I almost always have, and
Yeah.
um, and some kind of tambourine is always with me almost. Yeah.
I think the those little eggs, the always save my ass a few times. I always have two in my drumstick bag. If there's something, they don't take too much space, and if there's a overhead, you can shake it and make some
Ah, yeah,
kashishi patterns
yeah,
without annoying the singer and everybody around.
yeah.
They really
Yeah, they're
save
good.
the situation. But it's cool because I was asking because there's another reason too. Because are you playing like mostly as a drummer, or on a lot of your project you have a percussion player with you? Because that's mean you can have different layers of percussion. That's why you don't need the tom, because these tom can be played by a guy on dundun, for example, or another percussion. Is that the purpose of that, or
Um, like actually, it's pretty rare these days that I'm playing with a percussionist.
okay?
Um, if I am, it's a luxury and it's great. It's super fun, especially now because I'm hearing all these sounds, and I'm trying to do it with this group Fractal Sufi. Like the sound of the darbuka is like really part of the sound, and like I have when I don't really know how to play it very well, but I'm hearing that. I'm trying to, you're in the situation, you're trying to like do what's required for what you hear in your head. It was just like sometimes it's not possible. So I played the other day with a guy that was playing a lot of darbuka, and I was like, yes, it was like I don't have to. I'll just play the drums, and I can even play more simple and just sit back and hear the music played as I feel that it should be. But I don't have to
Mhm.
do like I don't have to do a million things that I can't do properly anyways. Like you
No,
know.
no, no. I know exactly because it reminded me like 2 years ago, just before pandemic, I was playing in a gig, and it was a full band of like Cuban music, and I have the luxury to have two percussion player with me,
Oh
one
yeah.
one conga and one guy playing like cowbells and shakers. So because when I play those kind of music alone, I have to emulate the conga with the toms, and you play a lot of shit around the kit, and it's a lot. Now I think I did the gig complete on hi-hat, kick, rims, shots, click stick, stuff like crash, and that's it. And I think it was cool because you became one. Like those three,
Mhm.
me with the two other guys, we became one person, and that's the groove. That's the we're talking together, and I like that. I can imagine with a darbuka player, if he's a good player too, because those guys play very good in general. It's fun because they have so much subdivision and double stroke. It's nice.
Yeah, it's fun. And I mean, it is fun to play without one as well because you get to sort of do more stuff, and and explore and be involved in the music in a different way. But yeah, I mean, it can be, it can be tricky if you're not used to playing with the guy and he's not used to playing with other people or whatever. But lately, it's just been everyone I've played with just been great.
For sure, for sure. At the time, fly crazy. I want to talk about a bit the way you are writing, like articles, not just with like Drumfills Cafe, but back in the days with Drum Etc. Right now. I wanted to say you always cool ideas. He's always out of the loop, like super nice. That's something I would never expect to see. Is a reality. I like it because it's not something common. And how you're coming with those ideas is because I really suggest to be like everybody listening right now, go check it out on drumfillscafe.com, go in texto, and you will see all the season. It's like a book, and you will see all the article of Max. But tell us about how you're coming with those ideas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, thank you for giving me the chance to write and checking out my stuff and appreciating what I do. To be honest, I just take like I think I have a pretty, I don't know. I think my life is pretty good. It's pretty exciting, and I just
That's cool.
I'm grateful for that. And I just all of the ideas I take from my real life, you know, like
Yeah.
I've been studying with this with Trichy Sanko and South Indian conical, the
Okay.
stuff. And my latest article was about the benefits of that. And for me, it's just great to be able to, because you spend time doing something, and then sometimes to be able to validate what you do,
Hmm.
to be, if I have a chance to write an article and explain why it's good that I'm doing what I'm doing, it's good. And the article I wrote before that was about like learning styles of and being involved in music from around the world,
Hmm.
and the challenges and some of the advantages, and it's just like that was literally like right from experience, like for like some of the things like like my friend, he, in Madagascar, from Madagascar, he was telling me like, oh, they just call this rhythm 6/8. It's 6/8, but it's like
Okay.
it's like so it's like, yeah, for some people, they, if they're like scholar, they want to know what's the name of this and how can I write it out, and
Hmm.
all this stuff. But sometimes you just have to just use your ears, and you just have to, if it doesn't have a name, and some stuff is called one name in one place and another name in the other place, and it's
Hmm.
it's the same thing, but it's completely different names, and people will say,
Totally.
no, it's this, it's that. It's like it doesn't, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just mute, we you just play the music. So
So true. It's so true. I was playing with an African band, and we're playing a makuru, and it's a pattern like tum tum pa tum tum pa tum pa tum. It's a pattern of dun dun, and but I was doing a drum version of that, and I remember I was super green. It was back in 2006, and I remember I stopped, and I couldn't understand the pattern. I was like really in my way, and I asked them like, "What is that?" Ah, it's the same. But it was not the same. They have different accents. But for me, I would, at that time I needed to know where to put the accent, what was the name. But they didn't. They have a root. There was the makuru, but after that they have different variations. Exactly like you said, like it's the 6/8 whatever makuru is an example, but they have their time on their stuff. So I put my ears on and I was like, oh, okay, this is that and that. But they couldn't explain that. They have a name for the genre or the family of that pattern, but not for that specific rhythm. So at the beginning, I was like, okay, but after that, when you play with them, you jam with them, you understand where they want to go. Like the only different thing is like a song for them can be 20 minutes, but the same song can be 2 hours. That's the hard part. And they have a chauffe, like it's a getting warm, like getting hot. So they speed up the time a little bit
mm,
every like time, like every like 12 bar. And at the end, you cannot more. Everybody dance in the floor, but they keep you there for 10 minutes. But it's you know what I mean? But it's cool. You learn from those experiences. It's nice.
yeah, yeah.
Exact.
Yeah,
Hey, I wanted to ask you because I'm changing topic because we don't have much
yeah.
time. Um, I saw you play with like Josh Groban and big names like that, like Junos,
uh,
like people. It's so cool how you became to play with those, like for example with Josh Groban. Is a super big artist.
yeah, that was a really fun gig. It was just a recommendation from, like, he came to Toronto, and he had he had a, mostly was like props. He had so much props on that tour that he wasn't able to travel with anybody else. And it
No
was
bands.
it was a that project had an orchestra, so he had a guitar and pianist, that's it, and conductor, that's
Okay.
it. So they hired locally the orchestra and the bass and the drums. So some a friend of mine w- told the contractor for the whole event was through an orchestra, and the guy knew only classical musicians. So, but they needed a drummer to play, like a rock sort of, or pop the stuff. So I just got recommended, and I did it. And yeah, that was a great experience, man. That was a really great experience.
For sure. And which venue was only one show, or you did a few?
We did. It was 2 nights.
Okay.
So it was this. It was. I forget the name. I think it's called Meridian Hall now. It used to be
Mm.
the Sony Center. It was the Sony Center at the time, and
Okay.
I think it was the Hummingbird Center. It was called, and originally it was called the O'Keefe Center. It's a big theater in near Union Station.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
in Toronto. But yeah, we
Yeah,
played there. It was great. It was great. You know, it was very strict. Like you couldn't, we weren't allowed to take pictures and this and that. And we were rehearsing, and then he came, Josh came, and everyone was like, "Oh, you have to." So everyone had to be quiet, and he came, and he shook my hand, and he was very nice. He was it was great.
well, there it's not the first time I heard like bands or project they don't want you to they don't allow you taking pictures around. When I did I performed at the Geleno a long time ago in 2012, and I couldn't take picture of my setup on the set at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was not because of them. It was because one artist was from one show. I remember one girl, and she asked nobody could take picture of her or whatever during the time she was in the studio, even if she was in a room. So no, we have to only a professional photographer. So we have to deal with that, and it's life. It's happened.
yeah. I mean, there's so many restrictions, and now everyone has a camera on them. So like I heard even today on the news, like some guy was taking pictures in court or something. I was something like, like like in some case, yeah. Like I don't know. Anyways, yeah.
It's
It's
technology, man. 2022 clips, like there's clips now with camera, so it's super teeny. Quality is good. If you watch videos of drummers on YouTube or whatever, with an iPhone or whatever, you can have very good quality recording. Now it's not like 10 years ago you didn't have that, and now it's incredible.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it's already done, man. It was a very short time. It's always like that, 25-30 minutes. Where the people can see you in the next, well, first, what are the project for you in 22? Do you have any good cool project coming in 22?
Yeah, I've got. I mean, it's just sort of coming in now. I have. I don't know. There's a band called Avatar. We have some shows coming in coming up. It's a project that fuses like kind of Indian music and with jazz. It's hard to explain, because if you say jazz, it's like it's like it's
Just
yeah, what I mean. It's such a broad thing, but yeah, that's a cool project called Avatar. We just had an album release called Worldview, and
okay.
that was recorded during the pandemic, and it's some of the most complicated music I've ever played. But and and we it's a cool project. It's a very cool project.
I'm sure
Avatar.
we'll check that
Yeah.
out. And where people can reach you, what the social media, like Instagram, Facebook, where the best place to reach you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram, just my name. Fortunately, there's not that many of me. I guess. Well, there's only one me, but like just Maxsenitt. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel and stuff. I'm not on this TikTok. I haven't been in there, but I have a Twitter account, but I don't really use it much. But yeah, you can reach me there. I'm
Perfect.
there.
Well, I thank to be part of the of Drumfills Cafe as a official member. Thank you to be on the show today. It was amazing to talk with you. I invite everybody to watch your videos online, and well, let's keep in touch, buddy. We have a lot of job coming, still a lot of article to write, so we'll keep in touch for sure in the next weeks.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Take care, man. Have a
You
good
too,
night.
buddy. Take
Bye
care.
bye. Thanks for Max to be part of the show tonight. Um, I will just remind you, if you didn't know, we're in the 5th season. I invite you to go on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, our website, drumfillscafe.com. You will have all the information about our artists by the past, the coming artists, the article. We have editorial also written by Frank Camus. We also have like a section about like drum lessons, but it's very, very short teaser, but you can discover a few things there. We have the PDF of them, and you can download it. And yeah, so I invite you to go check out drumfills.com, drumfillscafe.com, and thank you to be part today. See you soon.